Okay, I need for you guys to tell me if you can hear me. Obviously, you cannot see me because I'm sharing that screen because today we are at BlueGrass in Baltimore, and I'm gonna be staying here all the way through the game. I'm gonna do my live stream at 10:30, and then you hear me? Perfect. So okay, perfect. So 10:30 all the way to 4. So the details are there. Hopefully you can see them. Um, it's gonna be free food. Obviously free food is not here yet, but it's coming. Chef is gonna be doing some free food. The drinks in this bar are amazing. So come, have a good time, enjoy the game. Like I said, I'm gonna be here enjoying this big win. Where's my Buffalo fans? Hopefully one or two show up here. Craig Winchell, what up, brother? Let's get it. Thomas Morgan, Thomas Crowley, what up? X513, Ravens Flock, Baltimore 410, and 10 Miller. Thank you for joining this pregame live stream. I love it. Let me switch gears to this. Where's the button? It's very weird, guys, because in here, obviously, I don't have my normal computer. So I'm dealing with my laptop and trying to figure out. Back home, I have two monitors, so it's easier to, uh, follow everything or do everything correctly. So anyway, sup, Gerald? Sup, man? I would say we already have one of you guys here. I don't want to say name, but hopefully more of you guys showed up. I know Fred from Birdland said that he's gonna swing by, and a couple other you guys also said that you guys are gonna swing by. So let's do it. So Baltimore Boy 410. First prediction. Here you go. Josh Allen would throw 4 picks. Not 1, not 2, not 3. 4 picks. That is a lot of picks. I would say it's definitely possible. Think about it. Josh Allen can push the ball. He has an arm. No, I'm not. And last week when I did talk about Josh Allen, and guys, I didn't have any podcasters from Buffalo. I hit 5 people up that wanted to join me, either live or non-live. So sorry that there was no behind enemy lines. I have a guy from the Jets that currently said that he might be able to. We'll see. But yeah, Javon B game day. That's what's up, man. So he can definitely push the ball, but saying all that, hold on here. I got a message. Oh, let me say also, for parking here. There you go, Berlin. Trust. So hopefully the BSers, you can see the BSers here today too. Parking here, you can do the valet parking. You can say you're going to the BlueGrass to the watch event. There's also parking in the streets. There's meters. There's a lot of parking nearby, so I wouldn't say that there's no parking. It's not difficult to park around here, so it's nice. So let me see here. The Ron Johnson. Thank you, man. The Ravens will score 40 points today, Ravens Nation. And Imagine Bull 70 says, I hope our defense can tackle today because Josh Allen can be hard to bring down. Yes. So that's the one big thing. So a couple of things. Keys for me for the game. We need to wrap up. If you go to the backfield, Josh Allen, bring him down. Your eyes cannot get too wide open. This dude is big. This dude is going to be hard to tackle. So you don't have to deplete this dude. Just go hug him, and bring him down. And even if you don't bring him down, if you keep holding him, just holding through his arms, they're going to call a sack. And while you're holding him, another guy's going to come and help you. But if you're going to try to, like a lot of players do in the NFL, just try to just shoulder tackle, and you're going to bounce out of this guy. This guy is strong. This guy is not he is essentially a younger version of Big Ben. That's it. He's a younger version of Big Ben. I'm not saying he's as good. I'm just physique-wise. Big Ben was way more accurate. Obviously, Big Ben is mature as a quarterback and all that. Not as a person, but as a quarterback. So We had to worry, in my opinion, Smokey Brown on the second side. No big plays. If we contain Smokey Brown, that's pretty much it. Because Cole Beasley, he might get here or there. We have our corners can definitely go hand to hand with Cole Beasley. And then the running backs out of the backfield, Singletary, I want to make sure we. The big thing with Singletary, he's like 4'11", so he gets lost in the in the big boys. So make sure you get to him, make sure you tackle him, make sure you bring him down. Not a big dude, but he's fast and shifty. So Josh Abrams says Peter baits Josh Allen to throw a pick six. I think a pick six is on the works for this game. I don't even. Maybe you know who I would like to get a pick six? ET. I mean, for sure. Obviously, Peters can do it. ET. Let's see. Thomas Morgan wants to up one. I forgot who said the 4 picks. Let's see. Baltimore boy for 10 says 5 picks in the first half. They called that a Peterman. Remember when Peterman came? That was a terrible call from that coach when he benched Tyrod Taylor for Peterman. Yeah, so if you can leave a like in the description or not in the video, that would be awesome. By the way, Berlin BS, shout out to him. If you haven't checked my boys channel, go check it out. YouTube, go Facebook, go Twitter. I don't know. Twitter, Facebook. I think that's where you guys stream. Correct me if I'm wrong, Berlin BS, but go check their channel. If you like Terps, because I know Terps are hot. A third team in the nation. I don't do Terps. I love basketball. I cannot get into college basketball. Sorry, but if you like Terps, they're your guys. Obviously, Raven stuff, they're your guys. Oreo stuff, also they do Oreo stuff. And any other things that are local events is happening in Baltimore. Berlin BS is the place to be. They do stream the same day that I do, and I will say they started streaming on Tuesday before I did. As soon as my season is over, I'm gonna go shift back to Monday. So, guys, be checking once the season is over. The games are Saturday and Sunday. I'm gonna be streaming on Mondays. Go check out my boys in Berlin BS. They are awesome. ED could get the first sack today. Well, Majin Bull, he got half a sack last game. So go so he in theory has one, but yeah, a solo sack probably. They say Tim Miller says, I hope our linebackers show up this game last week. Probably their worst game. Oh yeah, man, for sure. Oh, that reminds me something. I don't know why this reminded me of the linebacker stuff, but if you guys, some of you are talking, well, I cannot see the game, I cannot stream the game, I cannot listen to the game. So I contact TuneIn Radio, and they said if you are away, right? If you are in another state or whatever, you can stream NFL Contact. If you pay their premium, you can stream for audio NFL Contact. Go check them out and tune in. They told me they're gonna have a 7-day promo code running, so go check that out. Again, if you're outside of Baltimore, I know a couple of you guys said that, like, I wish I can listen to them. You can try them, sign for that 7-day, make sure it works, and then go from there. And I'm assuming it will be more for next year, although you can use it for the next month. But after that, I mean, we're going to be in the playoffs. All those games are going to be on TV. Okay, so Lex Get says, I said Josh Allen has 2 interceptions and 2 fumbles. So the theme is he's going to have 4+ turnovers. That's what I'm seeing. Let's get it. Okay. If Peanut plays, I think he will have a great game with at least a sack. So he played last week, Javon B. Peanut, I thought, had a bad game, but he also left the game 2 or 3 times with injury. He needs to get healthy. I think Peanut was, again, for me, he had the worst game of the year, but he also did look like he played hurt. Every time, man, Berlin BS, my guy Fred, dude is amazing. Go check him out. Like I said, and I love when Fred sometimes does this play-by-play call of their games, and oh my God, 105.7 the fan, or whenever Jerry Sandusky retires, they need to call Fred. Or if Jerry Sandusky wants to move away, they need to call Fred. Fred is awesome doing play. I can probably do the analytic part. I cannot talk as fast as Fred, and like he describes the game, you can watch it in your mind. So shout out to Fred, and then Scott is okay. He does the BS part is the Scott part. Shout out to Scott. Johnny Williams said, "Sonny, what up, bro? A great day for the Ravens, man. I'm hyped for this game because I haven't seen Daniel C here, but dude, that dude was annoying a couple weeks ago in all our live streams. So I wish he was here. I wish he came in. I want to see energy of some Buffalo fans, and then get it deflated as they're losing to break the little hearts. Anyway, Dre says, if you can't see the game, just stream the game online. Yeah, you can do that too. But I know a couple people last week was saying like, "Oh, we can even have it on audio." There is a subreddit for streaming and Reddit. I think it's NFL Streams or something like that. Junuwa knows more than I do, so you can definitely check that out. And they put all the games there. We were hurting last week. We had a few people coming in and out. Yeah, but so Kyle Reese, you're right. We have to do a better job. Look, in the second half, I did see some edge containment. What I saw was missed gap assignments, linebackers not in position. We need to work on that. That's very important. Do the Bills have any linebackers or safety who can cover Mark Andrews? I'm blanking on this dude's name. It was the kid that they drafted last year with Lamar. Yeah, hold on. Because his name is escaping. His brother was drafted by the Steelers. He's a safety for the Steelers. He was way overdrafted, the brother. Not this dude. This dude's pretty good. Hold on. What is this dude's name? Tremaine Edmonds. They also have Lawrence Alexander, but Tremaine Edmonds is the guy that I was thinking about. So Edmonds is pretty fast. I think Edmonds, I don't know if he can. This is the big problem to contain Andrews. And this is Reese. Let me put the question, by the way. Oh, there we go. It was Magic Bull. Do you think the Bills have any linebackers to cover Andrews? Andrews is not that difficult to cover in a one-on-one. Yes, not. You can go stride by stride with him. The problem with him is avoiding him making a catch because the guy's a bully. He will push you out. He will out-physical you. That's the big thing. He's not fast. Now, Hayden Hurst is faster. Covering Hayden Hurst is harder. The thing with Andrew does is every time they go to zone, because they're either blitzing or they're bringing a lot of people in, so they have to zone in, then Mark Andrews just finds the spot in the zone. That's basically what Mark does. I think Yahoo might stream it for free, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure either. So that would be interesting. Sean Abrams, what's up, man? Thank you for joining the live stream. I was trying to be there, Sonny, but baby mama wants to put up a Christmas tree. So I did my Christmas tree last week, and what is it? I put some, and then today, obviously, I had more to put in, but to my wife, like, hey, I need to be here. But hey, let's get it. Say like, can I just go there for the game? You don't have to be here for the live stream. Just come in at noon or 12:30 or 1. Watch the game here. They say like during the game, I'm not gonna put any Christmas tree or any Christmas decoration. So work on it now and swing by, man. LJ Era says Reap Juice World. Let me see here. I hope this will be Jalen Fergus' breakout game. This kid's getting better. I would agree with that. Tim Miller. Craig. Hopefully I don't botch the last name. Hofa. Morning, sir. I just ate a fortune cookie that said the hot word is going to make a big play. I like that fortune cookie. That's very specific. So let me see here. You have 2 other tight ends to worry about too. Yeah, no, I agree. But that's what I was saying. Boyle also slow, but Boyle just finds spots, and Hurst is fast. That was my point. LJ Era. Let's see here. Hey, Sonny, Can we track on another W to stay ahead? Yeah, man. We win today. KC wins, and then we're first. Oh, I see my boy just pop into the live stream. I'm coming to get you soon, man. J Bambing. I think Hayden Hurst has best hands on the look. Hayden Hurst played really good last week for sure. Godson, what's up? Let's do play-by-play today. Hey man, you can do it. I can't. I can't. I cannot do play-by-play. So what I do is I do I tweet. 38-17. Oh, so my score prediction is 30-17. And with that, let's welcome our buddy, Raven some Raven.
Hey, big
What
trust,
up, man?
Big trust.
Big trust. Boykins could have a big game today, but also think that. Wait, I lost that one. Think that every week. Yeah, that's true. I'm waiting for him to have a big game. What do you think about Tyus Bowser? Tyus Bowser is slowly getting behind the depth chart. I've seen Ferguson taking more and more snaps. So that tells me that Bowser is third now in the depth chart, which is huge. But yeah. By the way, Fred, if you come, you can definitely do play-by-play in my computer, man. If you want to do that, swing by. You can do it for sure. I don't mind you using the computer. Let me see here.
I love that fortune cookie line from earlier. I thought that was hilarious.
You saw that?
Yeah. Honestly, someone should come up with fortune cookies for every single team. Like, so you open one up like each week and it'll say like a player is going to go off. I think that'd be hilarious.
Business
like
opportunity.
Ravens fortune cookies, you could make them purple. I mean, it's perfect.
Business opportunity. Okay, I might go into that. I'll credit you. I don't know about the money part, but I'll credit you. Let's see more of Justice Hill today because if he's in, we're winning by a lot. So, yeah, well, when he's in, yes, I agree with you. We're winning by a lot. Same thing with RG3. Big thing with Justice Hill, and I don't know how you feel about it, Craven. Justice Hill, for me, has disappointed a little bit. I was expecting more out of him. They haven't had the need to use him, but I was expecting him to be more involved in the passing game. I don't know if what they think is he's not as good in the blocking side when they blitz or have different schemes, and that's why they're not utilizing him. But I would like to know, what do you think?
Yeah, even in the preseason, you watch him. He's super explosive. You're like, oh man, we got something here. He's got some speed. He can cut on a dime. You can see that explosiveness that made him one of the faster running backs in that draft. So you get excited, but then you watch him in the game. And I talked about this before on my podcast. It's like every time he runs, almost every time, there's a few times where he breaks it a little bit. He gets like 10, 12 yards, but it's like, oh man, if he'd only got past that arm, and he gets tackled by like an arm right at the line of scrimmage and gets ripped down. And it's like, oh, he almost got away. He almost did it. He just keeps almost having it. So maybe just one more year under his belt, get in the weight room. But I still love the explosion. Love his ability to make moves in the open field. It's just he can't get into the open field. He seems to have trouble getting past that first, I guess, line of defense, the defensive line, I guess. So, it's like, damn, so close every single time, so close.
Look at
Someone asked me where I've been. I think it was Lex Get It.
Yeah.
I've been doing Thanksgiving stuff. I have put out some podcasts, but Thanksgiving I was in like the Bay Area, then all the way out in Maryland. I went to the 49ers game. He's
saying that he's been traveling a lot. It's essentially what he's saying. He's been all over the place. Buffalo Stadium equals new era. LJ it is new era equals Jackson 6 today. Amen to that, man.
Yeah, better than Jackson 5. I was happy to see Iron Eagle say the Jackson 5 because I'm not gonna lie. Maybe someone else said it, but I said it before the season started. I want my goddamn credit.
Saludos, Baldo Cruz, Boricua, saludos. Gracias por estar aquí. See, sometimes I have to give you guys a little bit of Spanish flavor.
Keep us on the toes.
Lamar's new era. Jackson is going to turn up New Era Stadium. I didn't even knew it was called New Era, to be honest, if I'm completely honest. The Bills are going to shoot gaps. Penetration is the way to stop our offense. I don't disagree. I let you Tyrone. But then watch and see the passing lane. If you go check out my preview of the game, I said that this game for me sets up a lot like the Rams. They're gonna try to push the run, and then they're gonna start bringing people down, and then you're gonna be like, my receivers open there, my receivers open there, and you can definitely hit for open plays. So I think this is a game that sets up for Lamar. I know they're top defense on the passing side, but this is a game that sets up for Lamar to have really good, I don't know, passing yardage, but passing touchdowns. That's what I'm thinking. And my score prediction against 13-17. I'm gonna let Craven, talk about his score prediction and your game overall. What do you see in this game?
Man, I know it's gonna be windy, so that has me worried in the passing game. But I mean, we are just so dominant in the run game. And the Bills, that's not their best. That's not their best attribute on defense.
Exactly.
I think they've had one of the easiest schedules in the past couple of years. Just looking at it, I don't have numbers in front of me, but I mean, just eye test. You see the teams they play, and it's like trash, trash, trash. They're playing a bunch of garbage teams. It's like, oh, they're 9-3. Are they though? I mean, I even saw some Bills YouTuber. He was talking about the game, and he said the one thing that everyone always says. I know Lamar Jackson's fast, but our linebackers are athletic. Don't do it to yourself, bro. Every single person seems to have this take. Every single team
Everybody.
seems to have these super athletic linebackers that just don't show up. I think this is definitely going to be a litmus test for the Bills. I know they beat the Cowboys, but I mean,
Are we talking about the 6 and 7 Cowboys? Look, let's review their schedule. Let's review the schedule. They played the Jets. They beat them by 1. That's week 1. That's good. Early. Then they beat the Giants by 2 touchdowns, and then they beat the Bengals by 4 points.
Best team in the league.
Then the Patriots, they lost to the Patriots by 6.
Patriots are trash.
Then the Bills beat the Titans, which that was when Mariota used to play there, by a touchdown.
Yeah, Titans have gotten better since.
Yep, for sure. The Bills beat Miami by 10 in Buffalo. Then they got slapped around by the 5 and 7 Philadelphia Eagles. They beat the Skins 24-9. Then they lost to the Clowns 19-16. And then they beat the Dolphins again 37-20. And a big win here against the Broncos 20-3. And they beat the Cowgirls 26-15. Now, the big thing for me, the only thing I have them, or I give them a small chance, is is because they came in for a mini bye and they're at home. Other than that, I think the Ravens should dominate them throughout. So it says, Craig says, Lamar Jackson, 112 yards himself, 215 in the passing. I think that's a fair numbers for him. Those are definitely fair numbers for him. And then here says, Buffalo has a smaller defense. If I'm right too, with the knowledge we have on offensive line, they might be bully. Buffalo has also given up 100 yards rusher this year too. They aren't. Anyway, so yes, they are 14, I think, if I can remember correctly, on the rushing defense. And like Craven said, that's what we do best. Look, also I said this on my video. Think about it, Craven. We faced the number 3 defensive rushing when Houston was here. And then we faced number 4 when the Rams, and both of them we rushed all over them. So yes, you might be tough against the run, but you haven't seen this game.
Yeah, we've faced tough rushing defenses, and kind of Lamar put them in a blender. I mean, we've schooled them. I mean, like, back to the schedule thing, I don't think anyone has had even close to as tough of a schedule as we've had. We faced every playoff contender besides like the Saints, the Packers, but like all of the AFC contenders, we've beaten them. That's,
minus KC.
Yeah, minus KC. City. And that was so long ago, and we did lose. I wish it was a closer game, but we still lost that game. But hopefully now we've been playing so well, maybe we'll see him at home, or hopefully they play and lose in the playoffs, and Andy Reid does something crazy, and we don't even have to see him. That's my hope.
So a couple of things. If you think about it, if I don't know if you saw the power rankings. The power rankings came out on NFL.com. The Ravens, if you take the top 7, the Ravens are number 1. So for the next 16, we beat 4 out of 6, and the other 2 we haven't played. That is the Saints and the Packers. Look at the schedule. We obviously slept around the Dolphins. We beat by a score to the Cardinals, which at the beginning people were saying they're trash. Now they're like, well, they're kind of dangerous. You have to be careful. Then we lost by 5 to the Chiefs. We lost by 15. That was our bad loss to the Clowns in Baltimore. Then we went and beat the Steelers only by 3 in overtime. Then we beat the Bengals. And after that Bengal game, that's when things started to turn around. That's when Marcus Peters came. So we beat the Seahawks by 14. And then the Patriots game, Jimmy Smith also showed up, and we beat them by 17. Then we took the Ravens and Bengals 49-13. And then to the Texans 41-7. And then to the Rams 45-6. And last week, a close game against the Niners 2017. And I think if Lamar doesn't fumble, that game is even bigger.
Yeah. Back to that Chiefs game, I didn't realize we lost by only 5. I thought we lost by more. I guess it's just in my head. It was like Lamar was playing hero ball at the end, so it felt like it was maybe a bigger loss.
We scored late. We were down more.
He threw it up that twice on that one drive. That was crazy. Can't believe Snead came down with that ball at that time.
So, do you think Lamar gets the rushing record today? I think he's 60 yards from it, or 60.
I mean, he's averaging 60 yards a game, I think. No, I think he's averaging more than that. He might be averaging 80.
I think he gets it.
Yeah, I think he gets it. I think, like I said, it's going to be windy. So I think maybe they're going to keep short passes and then do kind of what they did in against San Francisco, but maybe have a little bit more success in the pass game. People aren't going to have the wet hands. So I think it's going to be a heavy run game. I think Gus Edwards gets a huge game. I think now in December, this is his time to shine. Keep. I mean, Ingram's been running really well, but I think keep his legs fresh for the playoffs maybe. And Gus Edwards, he hasn't done much all season. Get him going, and then use Lamar. I mean, he killed it when he came in last year because his style is I'm just going to run straight forward. Go fuck yourself. I'm running straight. And then Lamar with the ability to pull it. It's a 1-2 combo that's tough to defend.
So if you think about it, the Ravens, if they're gonna take the edge out because they don't want Lamar to pull and go to the stretch run, now you have to think Lamar's just gonna give it a lot and let Ingram or Gus run to the middle. There's gonna be holes there. And I agree with the comment here for Mr. Shat 1205. Shout out to you. Thank you for joining the live stream. Lamar will have a big game in the passing today because of the over-aggression of the Bills. I don't disagree with that. If they want to just to bring everybody in the box, Lamar will have a big game. And let me pause here and say to you guys, today we're going to be here at BlueGrass live streaming. If you want to come join, there's plenty of TVs here to watch the game. They're all going to be in the Ravens game. Come, free food, enjoy the drinks. Drinks are very good, so you can buy whatever drink you want. Food will be free. The other thing is, also check out my boy Craven Some Ravens channel. That's the dude that is there. You can search exactly what you see there on the tag, Craven Some Raven podcast on YouTube. But also, like I said to you all the time,
come see me.
If you want, Craven does very good on keeping up with the audio. So if you guys want to just on the way to work, you're stuck in traffic because we know how Maryland traffic is. Go check his podcast. It's really good. Also, Fred from Barrel MBS, which was here, and my boy Coach, Sip to Tally. What's up, Coach? Also check his channel out. He does a great job on field breaking. Okay. Deron says, look at that. Craven Some Raven, good morning for you. Okay. Here, RL says, go Ravens. Yes, I agree. I saw that Stanley versus Bosa video from Coach. It was hell of a good job, coach. Damn, I'm losing.
Yo, coach, you got to get on here.
I send the link to everybody, to whoever wanted to join. They can be here. Anyway.
Yeah, dude, I honestly just woke up. It's like only 9 o'clock where I'm at right now.
Only. That's late,
Mountain
man.
time.
I wake at 6.
Shit, bro. Well, I guess you got a kid, right?
I have 2.
Dad life.
I have 2. To wake up early. Okay, so look, our Bills fan joined Roblox video. Let's go Bills. Hey, man. I one thing I didn't mention was, even though I think the schedule was soft, it's still impressive to go only 3 losses. Yeah. I don't want to say that's a pushover. Look at the Eagles losing to Miami, right? And they're supposed to be a Super Bowl contending team. Look at all these other teams. They're supposed to be good, and they are not playing good.
They've been winning the games they're supposed to win, which is it's no easy task. Like
that's all you're supposed to do. Like, for all the shit that people want to give about schedules, hey, they didn't create their own schedule. If it is soft, it's soft. Look, the Jets have the same soft schedule. Where's the Jets? Right? Mm-hmm. Where's Miami? Yeah. I mean, they can only be who they have in front. So this is a practice game. So yeah, I agree with you, Don Wayne. To think someone in the NFC East, NFC least, as I call them, will have a home playoff game. Come on, man. Yeah, I think they're gonna get slapped around. Although, if we
Big Trust.
Oh, look who's here! You heard Big Trust over there?
You just hear it loud in the background.
What's up, bro?
I have my boy here. Look,
Trust. What's going
Big
on,
Trust,
everybody?
dude.
Berlin BS is here.
How are you?
Is that just a shocker?
Yeah, no. He said he was coming, and he made it. So again, if you guys want to come here to the bar, my boyfriend from Berlin BS will be here. Okay, so
don't we play the NFC East next year?
Maybe.
I heard that somewhere. If we do,
we might. I think we're due to play the least. We are due to play the least. Okay, so here says Buffalo has one linebacker who's good, and the line is just average. Something to watch if is Lamar throwing 3 touchdowns or more. So what I'm saying, this game for me sets up like the Rams, a game that you can potentially have throwing lanes to have easy completions. That's what I'm saying. So, oh, look at this. They're calling you out, man.
Call me out?
No, not you.
No, I told you I just woke up. This is actually a soccer jersey for a team here in Albuquerque.
Albuquerque.
Yeah.
That's a nice jersey.
If you ever come to Santa Fe, check out Meow Wolf. I think they're building one in DC. It's actually really cool. It's like this weird like art place. You can walk around everywhere. It's super weird. But I mean, that's a nice it has nothing to do with football. It is. I like it.
You can say that soccer is football in other places that is not the U.S. AJC Senior, we embarrassed the Packers in the preseason. By the way, anybody in the live stream is coming here because I know a couple of you are coming. I'm just asking if anybody here in the live stream is coming. 303 straight of victory and 366 straight of schedule for the Bills. Yet again, I'm more like, I got you. I know that their schedule is not hard. My thing is they beat the teams that they're supposed to beat. That's all you can ask. I mean, this is the same shit that they were saying about us early in the year, right? It's fine. I will show them. I'm more annoying that they were trolling my channel and my live stream and trolling the NF podcast.
Ooh. Who was trolling the podcast?
Daniel C. A guy named Daniel C. was trolling on Tuesday in my channel and then on the podcast on Wednesday. I mean, he went. Fan? I guess he's a Bills fan. I don't know. He was all in love with the Bills, and then he was. What was the other thing? Oh, then they call, which again I have no problem. You know I like debating. I have no problem with debates. My big problem was when he started talking more like, oh well, he started saying like, oh, the only thing the Ravens have over us is they lead us in addicts. That's when okay, dude, you
in addicts.
Yeah, like
above the ceiling? Like,
No. Addicts like drug addicts.
who is the drug addict on our team?
No. Not the players.
What's good, Fred?
The city. Okay, so that's
Okay.
Fred. He can't hear you.
No.
But
Okay.
he said, "What's good,
What's
Fred?"
good, bro?
Okay, so since I have Fred here, I want to see Mr. Fred. Who do you have today and score prediction? Can you hear him, Craven?
Yeah, we can hear him.
Okay,
All right,
you have a
cool.
deep voice. You're good.
For me today, this is going to be a test, I think, for both teams in the sense that these are two defense that go against some of the best mobile quarterbacks in the league right now. Different in the sense that Josh Allen's more of a power runner, where Lamar's more of a finesse runner. So I think that's going to be a good matchup. I think this will be a closer game than most people are putting it out there. I've got a kind of low scoring. You got two really good defenses in this game. I think the Ravens pull it out like 27-20, 27-21, somewhere in that neighborhood.
Okay, so 20, 27, 20, and 27.
21, somewhere in that neighborhood.
Okay, so I have it, like I said, it has 30-17, so a little bit less for the Buffalo, a little bit more for the Ravens. I think this is going to be a good game. I think regardless, again, for me, it sets up, I don't know about you, I think it looks to me a little bit like the Rams game. That we're going to try to push for us to run. The Rams were good against the run. This team on the Buffalo is middle of the pack, and they're going to bring people down, and Lamar will have throwing lanes. It is going to be a little bit windy. I think Lamar's arm is good enough for that win. It's not going to be rainy, which just looked like what he struggled with.
Yeah.
So I think Lamar will have at least 3 touchdown passes.
We'll see. I mean, they're talking 18 to 20-mile-an-hour winds. This is a Buffalo defense that over the last 3 weeks has put up a bunch of sacks. They put up 15 sacks in 3 weeks. So, I mean, this is another big test, another good defensive front. But so far, the Ravens have knocked them down one after the other. So if you can stop a player like Nick Bosa from making any kind of impact, you can stop a player like Aaron Donald from making any kind of impact.
I agree.
I've got all the faith in the world in what this offensive line is doing right now. I mean, I think that's kind of the underrated story of this team is that people do not give the offensive line the credit that they deserve.
For sure.
And it's Pat McCarry. He stepped up in a way that we don't even realize Matt Skura is not on the field. Because you don't hear his name. You don't hear issues up the middle like you thought. I haven't seen a single problem with snaps. There's just so much good going on with this Ravens offensive line right now.
Yeah, so the offensive line, something that I've been talking a little bit also in my videos, because Stanley, All-Pro, I don't even know how he's not leading the league in votes. Zeus is leading the league in votes, and I think Zeus Jr. has done a hell of a job.
Right.
Not as much as Stanley, because Stanley is going against the premier pass rushing. And then Bozeman cleaned his act, because early in the year he was struggling.
Yeah.
Something happened, something clicked. He's doing great. If you don't look, the best way to know if your O-line is playing good, do you hear their name?
Right.
You don't hear anything, they're doing good. They're doing good. If you start hearing false starts holding on whoever, and then when you see the sack, they're gonna show that replay. You're gonna see who they beat. That's who you know who effed up.
Right.
And then look, to be a rookie center in the league's hard.
Yeah.
It is hard. You have to call protections. You have to line up against big boys, big men, right? Nose tackles are big coming out of college. As they get to the NFL, they get stronger. They get bigger.
Right.
They know more technique. So as a rookie's hard, and now you're undrafted rookie. Dude, this impressed me a lot.
Yeah, I was worried. I mean, Matt Skura stepped up big this year, played a lot better than I think a lot of people expected him to play.
Me first.
I'll give you a high five on that because we were both a little skeptical. But, Bozeman, it's to your credit. He stepped up big. His footwork is a lot better now. Just collectively as a unit, they're playing better. The Pro Bowl voting really doesn't tell the whole story.
I agree.
Orlando Brown's more of the personality. He's the guy that's on Twitter all the time, making a name for himself. So that's why he's getting the votes. But to your point, Ronnie Stanley is all pro right now.
Man,
I mean, I think he's only given up 1 sack this year.
Something like that.
Yeah,
he's getting
five pressures and 1 sack.
It's insane.
It's insane. So
yeah, he's going on another level right now.
Telling point in this game. I think the Ravens will dominate up front.
I think Stanley, after I saw what Lane Johnson got, I don't know if you saw his contract. Lane Johnson got an extension of $18 million per year as a right tackle.
Right.
Stanley, right now, I think if they sign him this summer for you guys that like to watch the cap, he is getting 20.
Yeah,
Just make him the highest paid.
We've got some. I know we do have some money coming up this year. I think they're saying that we're going to have about $50 million in cap space coming into next year.
Yep.
But a lot of that's going to be getting eaten up by corner because they got to make a decision with Marcus Peters and Marlon Humphrey. Marlon Humphrey more for next year. But then to your point, they've got their bookend tackles that they're going to have to pay. Ronnie Stanley, they're going to have to pay immediately.
Yeah.
And then, Orlando Brown over the next year or two.
And to be fair, and Craven, I don't know if you think about this too. I think you do Stanley this year because he has the 5th-year option. So if you have to pay him 20, I think next year he accounts to like 15. So you can bring next year's up a little bit and flatten a little bit more. So to be 18 mil roughly to the cap hit throughout. Peters, that's going to be clean to your cap. I know they play with the numbers, but whatever, if he makes 15 or 16. Judon also, that's another guy. I think Pierce is gone. That's the guy that I think is gone.
Yeah.
I think they drafted Mac because they knew Pierce was probably gone, and they were, wondering if he can be that nose tackle of the future. Not as good as Pierce, but working probably could be potentially. He was a 5-star recruit coming out of high school.
Right.
And then Marlon Humphrey, next year's when you decide if you want to pick up that 5th-year option.
Right.
I say you pick up that 5th-year option. You have it for 2 years, and now if you sign him for 17 mil, you can flatten that and bring the next 2 years up a little bit. But throughout, instead of him being a 17 mil per year cap hit, maybe he can be a 13. I think that's how you have to sign a couple of these guys a little bit earlier than just to wait.
I agree with that, and that's kind of been my thought process on it too. And I think with Marcus Peters, the impact that he's made has been substantial, but it's a small sample size so far. With him, I'd almost like to see the Ravens use a franchise tag on it just to see how he performs for an entire season and then invest the money in him if you think it's worth it at that time. Because, again, the impact he's made has been substantial. He had one bad game this past week, but outside of that, his impact has been substantial. But I just don't know if you're going to have the kind of cap out allocation to pay 2 top flight corners. These are guys that are, in my opinion, 2 of the top 5 corners in the NFL right now.
Fair.
You could pay them all that money, but where are you robbing Peter to pay Paul? You know what I mean? Are you not paying an offensive tackle to keep 2 lockdown corners? I think you do it at least for a year, keep him, underneath just in wraps for an entire season. So,
okay.
We'll see.
So one thing that Craven, I'm gonna let you talk about this because people, for me, I don't know about you guys' channel. As soon as Peters made that pick 6, people are like, "You need to sign him now," and I was like, "No, you need to sign him out at minimal. Wait for the entire year to finish playoffs and everything because you want to see somebody could have gone hot, right? But you, as the year goes, you want to see how he reacts to adversity. Like last week, it was a bad coverage.
He lost the ball.
Oh, not coverage. Coverage-wise, he was in place. He lost the ball, right? So you wanted to see how he reacted. He whiffed in that tackle. He didn't have the solid technique to bring the guy down on that big run.
Right.
So that was now you want to see how he reacts to having a bad game. He wasn't horrible, but he had a bad game for what he has played.
Agreed.
So you want to see how he reacts. Extending him at this point, no. You want to see how he plays throughout the year. To your point, I think franchise is not a bad thing with him. And then, again, this is why I think for Marlon, next year would be good to sign him.
Yeah.
Because next year's his cap hit, I think, is 5 mil. So
Right.
if you take that 5 mil and make it to 12 or 13, right? What you're doing is for the future, you're bringing that cap hit down. And if Peters is going to cost you a lot, you're paying Marlon still the same or maybe a little more, but cap-wise, you are under it. Craven, what's your thoughts on that?
First off, I think we need to make Ronnie Stanley the highest paid tackle. We got to get it done this year. And I think after that, try and sign as many players as you can because in 2020, there's going to be a new CBA and there's talks that there's going to be a bunch more money. The salary cap is going to increase. I think that they're talking about players being able to make a ton of money. So getting those contracts in before that kind of goes live, before that's like a thing. And so when we see, you make players like the highest paid at their position, right? You pay Marlon Humphrey, make him the highest paid corner. You make Ronnie Stanley the highest paid tackle. I don't know if you sign Judon, but you just pay everybody a bunch of money. The contracts, maybe they'll look like we're paying how much? And then after that new CBA comes out, we'll be thinking, oh, well, this isn't this isn't that bad, actually. You know, like back when Flacco got his $20 million a year, we're like, what? And then like a year later, someone gets paid more, and now we're up to 30 million, over 30 million.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's all about, you know, getting those big contracts in as soon as possible.
Yep.
I think I kind of like the 5th year option, you know, with Ronnie Stanley, but at the same time, I hate that idea. I think it might have been on Engraven stream. Someone was on there talking about it.
The 5th year for Ronnie is already picked up, right?
So, is it?
Oh yeah, because the 5th year, how the 5th year works is you picked it the year before, so they picked it last year. That's where Marlon is going to be. Marlon is going to his 4th this summer. You make the decision if you want to pick that 5th year. The reason why they do it like that, guys, because as somebody asked me the other day, it's like, it's also to benefit the player. In case that player had a bad year, that's fully guaranteed you pick it up. And for the team, if the player keeps balling out, you still have it for 1 extra year. So you have to do it early, but you know, it's a win-win for both players in theory, for both parties. Now, what Craven was saying was with the new CBA, a lot of money's coming in. Yeah. So he's saying if you make the highest pay to Ronnie and Peters and Marlon, the theory is there's a lot of influx of money coming in 2 years from now, so that is going to be almost essentially not as big of a contract. Now, the reality is I think more money is coming because this league is making a ton of money.
Yeah.
But also, I don't think this money is going to be like, boom, a bucket of, because the problem is what happens if the NFL does it like that. A lot of teams are going to just pay a bunch of guys, and then you don't see the progression of cap increase, and that's what the league wants to see.
We'll see contracts like what the Jets were giving out this year.
Yeah.
And it'll just get spread around. The thing that you got to keep in mind, too, is that we've got an all-pro guard in Marshall Yanda right now that his contract is going to be coming up. He's got 1 more year after this year, and he may not even play this year. If they end up going to the Super Bowl and they end up winning the Super Bowl, he may ride out sunset and just be done with everything. So there's some money that will free up that you can allocate towards one of your tackles there. So got to keep that in the back of your mind. There are some things, moving pieces that will open up some money. And then it just, like you said, the increase in cap every year after the CBA. So there's ways to make this happen. It's just you don't want to clamp yourself down with these ridiculous contracts, not knowing what you have. Marlon Humphrey, you know what you have. Pay the man. Ronnie Stanley, you know what you have. Pay the man. We can look at tape in the 6 weeks that Peters has been here, and he's been a huge impact. I just think it's safer bet for them to do the
now. There's somebody that neither of you guys actually. Well, you Craven said like I don't know about you, Judon, but I would like to know your take. What do you think about Judon? Do you bring him? Do you don't?
See, pass rush for me is one of the areas that is it's the money doesn't make sense for me. Like as hard as it was to watch Zadarius Smith walk and see what he's doing in Green Bay right now, I think Matt Judon's going to require the same type of contract.
For sure.
And I think Judon's a good player. I don't think he's an elite player, and the kind of money that he's going to get is elite type money. I think he's the benefit of a Wink Martindale system. It's a scheme. We blitz more than any other team in the NFL by a large margin, right?
54% of the time we blitz.
Exactly. So I think if we put an emphasis on drafting a couple of pass rushers, going out and getting some budget-friendly pass rushers in the free agent market, I think those are funds that we can allocate elsewhere. I love Judon. Don't get me wrong. Don't take that twisted. If the Ravens can figure out a way to make it happen, do it. But I just think that the amount of money he's going to require for a pass rusher, not just him in general, pass rushers in general, unless you're elite status, I just don't think it's worth it.
And something also to point out, guys, if I think we had the potential, obviously, to go all the way to the Super Bowl and win. If that happens, all our players get an extra tag, extra price tag. If you remember the year that we won the Super Bowl, all our average players got paid like stars, and our star players that were free agents got played like superstars. And that's what happened. Like Judon will get 20 plus if we win the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
for sure. Peters now is gonna demand a boatload.
It's a trickle down effect. You gotta realize right now we're kind of the generic version of America's team. Everybody that is on a football team that's actually not doing very well right now, or those like just kind of wannabe football fans that come around every now and again when the playoffs come around, they're watching the Ravens, right? Because the Ravens are the big story and everybody's hyped on them. So they're all over national media right now. Mm-hmm. So all the attention is being brought to this team. So just in that itself is going to bump everybody's salary up because they get so much more exposure than anybody else. And things are being made more about them.
Yeah, and I'm sure the Ravens also are going to, even if they don't make the Pro Bowl because they're playing in the Super Bowl, just the Pro Bowl recognition, that's also something they're going to add to their resume. And being in this team, if we finish first overall, which currently we have the place to be first overall, if we finish first overall, that means more attention, more media coverage, more time in the news. And people, when they get a little, who are my football? Let me sure, like if you're in Arizona, let me sure Larry Fitzgerald and Kyler, but for the AFC, I don't know. Well, the Ravens are first. That means their guys must be good. Exactly. Let me just vote the Ravens players, right? And that's how it goes. Let me see here some comments. Oh, first of all, Danny Disman, thank you for joining and thank you for wearing that, man. Thank you for sure. Look at that. They're agreeing with you. I'm not sure what you said that they're agreeing with you, but they're agreeing with you. Like I said to you guys, my boy Fred, we knew each other from last year. I met him last year. Dude is incredible. Again, and I told him this. This is not because he's here. I said it earlier, but I had said to him before that I think he is one of the best broadcasters that I've seen. I know you're not in the radio, but on YouTube, when I seen them and they had done like play-by-play calling.
Yeah, I miss doing that.
It's awesome. Like I know you do the play-by-play and Scott does the analyst part.
Yeah.
But the play-by-play guys, I can't even tell you how hard that thing is.
It's not easy. It took us. I think we did it for like 6 or 7 weeks last year, and it was rough the first couple of weeks, just kind of figuring out the cadence to it and the right way to approach it. But I had a lot of fun doing it. We got a lot of followers from it. A lot of people seem to react well to it. Some of our highest rated videos were the streams. Actually, last year's Rams and Chiefs game. Remember that game? It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
That game blew up. I think we had like 10,000 people watching the stream last year.
And I think one of the reasons, again, you do a hell of a job. If you're not watching the game, I would say Jefferson Dusky does a pretty good job on this. Yeah. Obviously, the Orioles broadcast, his name is escaping me.
Gary Thorne.
Yeah, Gary Thorne. They do a hell of a job because I listen to a lot of radio broadcasting for the Orioles. Sometimes I cannot watch it, and they you don't have to watch the game, and it's like you're watching it, right? And I think with Fred, it's the same way. Again, if you see a pop stream that this guy is doing a play-by-play, and you cannot watch the game, go listen to it because I'm sure it will be, if not better than what you can listen to your normal radio if you're streaming out.
I appreciate that, man.
And I know a couple of you guys were saying like, hey, I cannot watch the game, or where can I listen? Well, obviously Fred is a season ticket owner, so local games on Baltimore, he ain't gonna do that. But in the future, if he does an away game, again, go listen because it's really good. And Fred is from Birdland BS, like I said, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook. You can follow them all three. They simulcast all three. Yep. And like I said, with my boy Craven Some Raven, he is on YouTube, but also on your podcast platform.
Yeah, it's really cool that we all get together and do this collabs, man. Everybody's got their own thing. Everybody does their own, form of streaming and podcasting, and everybody's great at what they do. Everybody's got their own opinions and own takes. And, even though sometimes we don't always agree on everything, it's all love. We all do this together. We're all doing it for the same reasons because we love doing it. So appreciate everybody out there that's been following and supporting, not just me, but everybody.
I agree.
Means a lot.
Big trust.
Big trust. I agree. Even when there's What's the B Word 52 and there's Coach over there, I would say everybody, all of us, and we disagree. It's not like me and Fred have gone to discussions and heated debates, and Twitter on videos, and it's fun. To be honest, it's fun. And the other thing, like I said, because you guys always want me, I'll react to Stephen A. or Skip and all these. I told you, we don't fabricate drama. They do. They have to. That's how they get views. For me, it's hard to fabricate stuff. So anyway. But remember, guys, we're gonna be watching the game here. Fred is gonna be here. Yeah. He leaned that he might be doing a play-by-play. We'll if he does play-by-play, We'll be here. He's gonna be watching the game from here. He'll be doing the play-by-play. Come join us, guys. Definitely come join us. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be free food. They're starting to set up their stuff. There's gonna be free food throughout the game. Coach says Bozeman went toe-to-toe with Aaron Donald.
He did.
I mean, again, this is a good question for Craven and for you. As we were talking about the O-line, I said, well, if Skura can come back healthy, which we don't know. He is still under contract. He's a restricted free agent. You can in theory tag him with a third round. I doubt that somebody's gonna go pay him and give him a third round when he's coming off an injury, right? He might not even be ready at the beginning of the year. But what you want is to see if he is ready to play. Because if Skura is good and can play, if not, let's say Macari runs for the center.
Right.
And you say, well, Skura, can you play guard? Because he did some guard for us.
Yeah.
And he can be your guard. Now you're set on the O-line. I know you still have Powers on the back end. You have, as Joe Newell likes to call Jane Wurst, as your backup swing tackle guard. But your 5, you're set up. We're talking about coming to the year like, next year we might have to go Jeff Yonda's replacement or another guard. Well, now Bozeman has been playing good. If Macari runs for the center, if not Skura, and the other person, if Skura is healthy, can be your right guard.
Well, I think you're on to the right track there. I think that if Marshall Yanda does retire, I think Bozeman stays where he's at left guard. He's done really well there and kind of supplanted his spot there. I think Matt Skura, he's the true center. He was a center in college. He goes back there. Macari hasn't played center since high school.
I agree.
He was guard in college. So I think he moves over to right guard and fills that void. I still think Ben Powers will play into a role at some point. He's just got a nastiness about him, a dog-style mentality about him that I really, really like. Haven't seen it on the field yet, so there's a reason for that. But I believe in that guy. Either way, I like where we're headed, offensive line. The youth that we have across the board on the offensive line is great. The depth that we have now with some of these guys, that the undrafted and the Ben Powers, those guys, the future is bright for this offensive line. So I think that's kind of how it lays out.
Because the reality is, let's say Skura because we don't know how people react from injuries.
Right.
If injuries happen and he cannot be the same player as he was pre-injury, Craven. If Macari stays center and Powers can be the right guard after, let's say Yanda retires this year or next year, regardless, it's either this year or next year. I think he looks like he's having fun.
Right.
Which I haven't seen Yanda smile this much. Usually Yanda's nasty guy. Yanda's been smiling like, dude, you look weird smiling.
Doesn't look comfortable.
No, but he's looking like having fun.
Right.
But if Ben Powers is that right guard to the future, again, you're young and you're set for your future O-line. I don't know what you think, Craven.
Yeah, man, we got the super young O-line. I think, you always love continuity on the O-line, so we can keep these guys for a long time. Marshall Yanda being the only kind of old vet there. And I like the idea of Powers going in at right guard, getting next to his college teammate. I know in college they were on the left side. Now they're going to the right side. So I kind of like that. And I love what Macari has done. Patrick coming in as an undrafted free agent, telling John Harbaugh, let me carry this O-line, coming in, blocking up a storm. There's been no drop-off between him and Skura, which is crazy. Watching him in this interview, I love his demeanor. Love the way he speaks. I'm a huge fan of this O-line. And I mean, the rare times when they do mess up, when there's a guy that slips into the backfield, I mean, Lamar has already cut away from that defender. He has already made that guy miss in the backfield. So the combination of Lamar makes everybody look better on the O-line. I'm a huge fan of what they're doing. I think, coming into the draft, each draft, I say just draft nothing but O-linemen. Just get as many as you can because, O-line play has been degrading over the years in the NFL. So, you just keep bringing talent because you don't know who's going to stick. That's the way the draft goes. But, get more replacements for Yanda, get some tackles because I don't trust, if one of our tackles were to go down, I don't trust James Hurst to come in and be that guy. So I think we need to draft some tackles. I think, like early round tackles, really boast up our backup position. And then, hey, what if they end up outplaying Zeus and we put him in there and Zeus goes get paid elsewhere? I don't know. It's tough once you're talking about future contracts and whatever. But I mean, I'm a huge fan of the way this O-line's been playing. I mean, we average over 200 yards a game rushing. What else do you need to say? You can just drop the mic on that one of how good our O-line has been playing.
I definitely think our O-line has been playing top 5 in the league. I still think the Steelers have better in O-lines. They've been good forever.
Yeah.
You have the Cowboys. I feel like our O-line has outperformed the Cowboys O-line.
Yeah.
The Eagles O-line, another O-line that has a lot of money tied to it, but I think our Ravens has outperformed the Eagles O-line. But something that you said that I disagree. I know, Fred, you can't hear what he's saying, but I actually don't think you should draft any lineman in the top 3 in the next round, unless actually I can't even justify now drafting linemen. Yes, because you need to have linemen because somebody gets hurt. Now, also with the Jane Worst comment, I tell Nubo this all the time. I said Hurst might not be a good starter.
No, but he's a good rotation
he's a
guy.
good backup guy because he can move to guard, he can move to tackle. It could be worse than James Hurst behind this line.
100%.
Your backups are not gonna. That's the one problem that we have. We feel like a backup king, and you're expecting that backup to pick up exactly the same as start. It's the reason that guy was a backup.
Right.
There's very few times that you can have a Chuck Clark. Chuck Clark has been in the system for a while, but a guy that
why can't you?
Because he said, why can't you? The guy's a backup for a reason. If he was as good or better, he will be the starter.
I do agree in the sense that sometimes it's just certain people need the right opportunity, because they've got somebody blocking them, like a Marshall Yanda is blocking everybody because he is a stalwart of the offensive line. Doesn't mean that Macari couldn't have come in and filled in well for Marshall Yanda. It's just there wasn't the right opportunity for him. But now Skura goes down, Macari comes in, and he hadn't missed a beat. So there are situations like that. It's rare.
It's not the norm.
Yeah, exactly. For the majority, they are a backup for a reason. But I think Hurst, to your point, is kind of that Swiss Army knife. He brings value in the set that you can pretty much put him anywhere on the offensive line, and he can fill in admirably. Is he going to be a starter quality type player? No. But you're not paying him to be a starter quality type player. And I think that his versatility is good for this offensive line.
For sure. Now, somebody also asked Tony, where are we going to trade Tony Jefferson next year? Tony Jefferson, and you guys know I'm one of the biggest fan of Tony Jefferson.
Here you go.
I love his tenacity, his attitude, his personality.
But he's not a good player.
But he didn't play good this year.
No, he's not a very good player. He's a great locker room guy.
I think he doesn't fit this scheme.
No, he doesn't.
And I think Chuck Clark is going to be cheaper. Another guy that I think, do you know what you have? He's been groomed here. If you like him, you can extend him after this year because he has one more year on a super cheap contract. So think about it. If you go next year and pay him, I don't know, $10 million per year for putting a number. I think he is on a $1 million salary next year, or roughly around there. You can elevate that to 5, 6, 7 next year and lower, and then he is just pay-wise like an average safety.
Right.
And you still have him. And Tony Jefferson is going to free up, I think, $8 million next year if you cut him. Nobody's trying to trade for Tony, not only because he hasn't performed well, he's coming out of an injury. Right. Again, another guy you don't know.
He's got to go to the Jets. He's going to go to the Jets. Everybody
might go to the Jets, yes. The
AAA Ravens.
The AAA Ravens.
Right.
But the reality is, Tony Jefferson, you don't know if he's going to start next year. So I'll be shocked. I know EDC pulls crazy trades all the time.
Yeah.
If he pulls a Tony Jefferson trade, man, you put
if
EDC
you get
in the Hall of Fame.
anything for him at this point,
conditional 7, you take it.
Yeah, a bag of balls at this point. My thing is, Earl Thomas is going to be here for the next couple of years. You invested in him, right? Mm-hmm. To your point, Chuck Clark's come in and played great. The one thing that has been substantial with Chuck Clark is exactly what we were worried about by losing Eric Weddle, the communication side of things, the field general side. Mm-hmm. Tony Jefferson, I'm sorry, but he didn't bring that to this team. We had nothing but communication issues when Tony Jefferson was out there with the crap linebacker core that we had at the time. Mm-hmm. You bring in some linebackers off the street, you put in Chuck Clark, and Chuck Clark solved all those communication issues. We haven't had a problem since he's been out there. I think he plays very, very well. He's a super smart player everybody out there saying that about him as far as locker room guys. So there's no reason to bring back Tony Jefferson. I just don't think he's a fit here anymore. I like him, but it's just not the right fit.
Yeah, I'm a big fan. That is painful for me to say because I mean, Newell will know because we obviously do a weekly podcast how big of a fan of Tony, but I couldn't defend him. I mean, he was not playing well, and even when I liked the guys, look, I said that Lamar last week wasn't good. I'm not here to sugarcoat anything. I know you do the same thing, but hey, even when he wasn't as great, the conditions obviously had a lot to do with it. We still take the dub.
Right.
And when your player didn't, because everybody's do a bad game, guys. They're all human, right? Yep. Everybody's do a bad game. Look at Rodgers against San Francisco.
Oh yeah,
that was perfect conditions, and he had a horrible game.
He had 40 yards in the first half.
It was horrible. So obviously, Lamar had a better game than that, but to what he has been playing so far, to his standards, and he said it. So let me see here. Anyone feels we gonna drop 50 on the Browns for payback?
Possibly.
What did we drop? 48 on them last year in the opening game?
I don't remember.
We blew them out the first game. That was when Flacco was here, but we blew them out.
So we haven't done it since Baker has been there, but also I would say I said Baker has regressed since he has started, since we played them, right? Big thing with Baker is he's one read guy. Yeah. He's been staring. I mean, I like Baker coming again. I don't hire anything with Fred, with me, with Craven. You can go back check our videos. I'm not here to say when I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Right. I like Baker. Something happened this year because he was better last year. Yeah. He has been interception guy, but he doesn't look comfortable. And I know that O-line is not great, but still with that running attack, you would think play action will set up to give you a little bit more time. And even when he has time, he's not making the greatest decision. Can we hand 50? Well, I think if the defense scores one or twice, then that's a possibility. Yeah. The reality is why I don't think it would happen is because as soon as we get a big lead in the 30s or 40s, if we're up 40 to whatever it is, big the lead, then our backups will come in. That late in the year, you don't want to risk somebody getting hurt. Yeah. That's why I don't think it might happen.
I don't think we'll need to put up 50 points. I think in this game, if we put up 30, we're still going to beat these guys pretty handedly. And this is going to be a time of possession game. Again, you got two mobile quarterbacks. The clock is going to be continually running pretty much throughout this entire game, meaning that there's going to be less possessions. I don't see a 50-burger going up in this game unless there's some, special teams contributions, some defensive contributions, things that are unexpected.
Okay, so this is a good. I don't know about you, Craven. I hate Mike Tomlin. After what he did to Jacoby Jones and then how he reacted, that's what because I thought that was very. I mean, man. I don't know. I lost my cool that day when I was watching that game.
I was there for that one.
But somebody asked me, and I would like your guys' opinion because some people think Harbaugh should be coach of the year.
Yeah.
And in my opinion, I'm going to give you my opinion, and then Craven, I'll let you, and then Fred. I think if the Steelers somehow make the playoffs, you can argue that Mike Tomlin should be, because I have them dead in the water as soon as Big Ben went off. And they have scrapped, and they're right now in the 6th seed. I think for me, he is the coach of the year. If he 100%. Doesn't win the coach of the year and we finish – if they don't make the playoffs and we finish first overall, I think Hurst is the coach of the year.
You lose Le'Veon Bell, you lose Antonio Brown. Juju Smith-Schuster has been a skeleton of what he's been in the past. James Conner's been in and out of the lineup all year long. You've got a duck-throwing quarterbacks, throwing balls.
Yeah.
So for him to be able to make the playoffs with the roster that he's been given this year would – I think put him a notch ahead of Harbaugh, in my opinion. And as much as I hate the Steelers, as much as our rivals, I do respect them. The job that he's done to be able to keep that group together and keep them competitive, man, it's pretty impressive. But if that doesn't happen, it's playoffs or bust for me for Tom. If he doesn't make the playoffs, then it's Harbaugh's to win.
I agree. How about you, Craven?
Well, when it comes to coach of the year, it's always about what are the results of your team versus what was expected of your team. And I think without a question, John Harbaugh should be the coach of the year. Look at the beginning of the year. How many analysts had the Steelers or the Browns winning the division? And which team has come out and just been dominating team after team and are if they win and the Steelers lose, are going to clinch the North. You know, looking at how this team was perceived before the season started, like who all these guys have gone, who are you going to play with? You know, our roster wasn't good. And then now, you know, now everyone says our roster is our strength. You know, like when they talk about Lamar in the MVP race, it's, oh, well, he's got a better team than Russell Wilson. It's like, where was this before? Where did all these great players come from? I've always believed in them, but I mean, it's like the coach of the year debate. You know, what is your expected result versus how you actually do? And I think John Harbaugh has far I guess exceeded what he was perceived to do with this team. Now I think Mike Tomlin has as well, but you know, if you look at what they were expected, a lot of people picked them to win the division, and I thought that was strange. I didn't think that was a real possibility. The Ravens would, but I mean, you know, I just think John Harbaugh is far, you know, had his team outplaying what they were expected to do more than Tomlin. And that's just my argument.
So I hear you. So what Craven's saying is basically we were projected to be third in our division, and obviously Harbaugh surpassed. And he said that the Steelers were predicted to win the division or number 2, but some people had them win the division. That's why he has Harbaugh on top. I would agree if Big Ben would have been there.
Yeah,
the
100%. Yeah.
But Big Ben, it's not like they lost it late.
No, they lost
week
him
2,
at the very beginning of the season.
Week 2, and I would say me as a podcaster, as somebody that watches I said there's no way this team can make the playoffs.
Right.
I did a mid-season podcast with all the other YouTubers from other teams, and I even said, like, I think the Steelers are gonna be number 3. I think the Browns have an easy schedule and they're gonna surpass the Steelers. And the Browns haven't been able to do that, and the Steelers have been grinding it out, right? And they're in position right now to be the 6th seed. For me in itself, even for them to be in position, I'm surprised. Even for them to be in position, be 7-5, let alone making the playoff. I hate Mike Tomlin.
Yeah.
I don't like the dude. I think, again, since what he did with Jacoby Jones and that return that he was making the return, I've been like, you just dirty.
Right.
But I have to give him the props. If he makes the playoffs, I'll be shocked.
Yeah, I don't put any weight on like the preseason projections, what the quote unquote so-called experts out there say. Everybody had the Browns going to the Super Bowl. If we listen to this, the so-called experts in the beginning of the year. But you're dealt the cards that you're dealt, and to lose Big Ben, who is the staple of that offense in week 2, that's a huge blow. Mason Rudolph was not it. And then you've got your third string quarterback in there making do and carrying them somehow to this 7-5 record. I think overall the body of work that he's done this year is super impressive. I hate the guy, I hate the team, but I got to respect it.
Yep.
Now, one thing I like about Mike Tomlin is, I swear, he is high every single game. Look at his eyes. They are red, or he's wearing sunglasses. I swear he is stoned every single game.
He's saying that Mike Tomlin is stoned every game. He loves that. He does like to wear glasses.
But
his eyes are red, I'm telling you.
His eyes are red.
He's on the sticky
You guys
icky.
get a chance out there. Listen, I do a audio podcast, a Terps audio podcast. It's called Shell and Tell. In the very beginning of the year, episode 1, I did an interview with Dino Tomlin, Dino Tomlin is a freshman wide receiver at the University of Maryland. And in the interview, I asked him the question. I said, all right, all jokes aside, you guys are sitting around the dinner table. It's just you and the family. Did Tomlin do that intentionally to Jacoby Jones? And he actually answers the question pretty candidly. You have to go check it out to hear his answer.
Oh, I want to know.
You got to tease us like that. Come on, man.
No. I got to go again. I told you guys, Fred does, because I don't follow the Terps. I mean, I followed them, but I don't watch them. I couldn't tell you the roster like I can the Wizards or professional teams. I'm not that big in college unless I'm scouting a player for the Ravens.
Right.
But go check Fred. Terps. I know Terps are hype. I mean, they're number 3. They came back. See, I know a little bit.
Yeah.
I thought they were gonna lose. I was like,
they were dead in the water yesterday,
and they came back. To their credit, Duke couldn't do it. Duke came out flat against a below average team.
Right.
Kentucky did it early in the year, and I forgot a couple other teams had done it. To the credit to the Terps,
right.
They fought their way back and they made it.
10-0.
I think this team, and that's the games that test you, right? Because in the tournament, you will be down to a team because, I mean, there's so many teams. So at some point, you're going to be down. Can you fight your way back and win that game when you're supposed to?
See, they're a very good defensive team. I think they're probably top 3 in the country as far as defense goes. They're a super young team, but they've got a ton of depth. Right now, they're not shooting the ball well, but they're 10-0, not shooting the ball well. Give this team a couple of weeks to kind of gel together and start shooting a little bit better. This is going to be a dangerous team come tournament time.
Okay, so there you go, my boy here. Manuel Carrasco, he is my brother-in-law. So, saludos, papi. Bendición a ti. Yeah, I told you guys I throw you some Spanish flair here now and then. So you so
most AD say.
Let me see here. Says Hayden Hurst will have his best game as a Raven today. Crazy or realistic? I will say I was surprised how Hayden Hurst was playing against the Niners. One thing that I say about Hayden Hurst is, and as Andrews is going to command more and more attention, Hayden Hurst has to pop up as your safety blanket because Andrews is getting the looks of the top corners now, especially in the red zone. Hayden Hurst versus Andrews. This is how I differentiate the two. Andrews, can you cover Andrews like without the ball? Yes. Andrews is not gonna blow by you fast wide, but he's a bully.
Yeah.
Like he will out physic you. If the ball is up there, he will go get that ball. He will out physical you. When we saw in training camp, I was with Fred and one of them. He will push. He will box you out with his body. Andrews doesn't, or Hurst doesn't do that as much. But what Hurst does is he's very shifty. He's very fast for a tight end. And once he has the ball, he explodes. I mean, that's what I see.
Yeah.
I think he can have a good game, especially if the game plan is to take Andrews away. I think that's when Hurst and Hollywood can pop up at having a better game. But I would like to know, Fred, what is your thoughts?
See, Hurst, we got to remember back to the draft, right? What was Hurst's attributes? Hurst was a good all-around tight end, right? He's a great blocking tight end. He's a good receiving tight end. He's got good hands. Like, he could do it all. Mark Andrews was basically a glorified slot receiver in college, right? So we only knew what he could bring in the passing game. In this offensive system, Hayden Hurst has just kind of taken on a role. And he's been more of that blocking tight end and using that side of his game because they need him in some of these pistol formations. And they need him in this wing T offense that they run to be that guy. So I think Hayden Hurst could put up, I'm not going to say the same type of production if they swapped roles with Mark Andrews because they bring different values, to your point, to the table in that sense. But I think the reason we're not seeing the production stats-wise from Hayden Hurst that we maybe kind of expected to see is because of his role. It's not that he can't do it. So for those people out there that are waiting for him to have this breakout game, I don't think that that's going to happen just because that's not his requirement in this offense. That's not what they're asking him to do. Mark Andrews is going to put up those statistics. He's going to get all the tight end love because he puts up the fantasy numbers. But the job that Hayden Hurst is doing in this offense can't go unnoticed because without Hayden Hurst, without Project Pat, this offense isn't running the way that they're running.
I agree. Craven, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, man, he catches everything. He's got the stickiest hands on the team. This is why he was a first-round draft pick, kind of why they picked him up, in the first round, I guess. Looking back on it now, it's like, well, I mean, you could have had Andrews, then you got LJ, could have done something else. But, Hayden Hurst, he's got the stickiest hands on the team. And what he's been doing, he's been showing it each and every week. And so when you say, hey, he's going to have his best game this week, it wouldn't surprise me. I think at some point Lamar's like, hey, man, this guy keeps catching everything. Let me keep throwing to him. Maybe, when the play breaks down, maybe he'll become his security blanket. And I don't know if that's going to happen, but I do know that I love Hayden Hurst's hands, which sounds weird, but I'm a huge fan of the way he catches.
I got you. So a couple of things, guys, as we're going to be closing the live stream. First, if you have time, if you're looking for a place to watch the game, if you want to come here, there's going to be food. Fred is gonna stay here.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be here watching the game. Come join. It's a nice bar. It's not that difficult to find parking around here because it's like right outside the inner harbor.
It's typical street parking in the city. I parked a block away. It was easy. Get down here, man. No excuses. Get down here.
It's free food and all that. So also we're gonna talk about the inactive. McSorley, no surprise. Jaleel Scott, no surprise. Averett, no surprise because of the cornerback depth right now with Peters and the others. Iman Marshall, again, not a big surprise in my opinion. The new center, Grasu, not surprised. Ben Powers also inactive. The only guy was Justice Ellis. Big thing for me was as soon as they thought my guy Pierce was healthy, I thought Justice Ellis' clock was going to be taken. Yeah. Because if you have Pecco and Pierce, those two guys cannot do anything more than playing the line. Right. It's not like they can do special teams. They can go
put them at safety.
Put it in safety. They can go, I guess, for block field goals or stuff like that, maybe. But I always said one of those two guys will stay for the long run.
Right.
If you have anybody that gets nicked, Ellis is the first guy to go to sign somebody else or to bring somebody from the practice squad.
Agreed.
Any surprises for you?
No. Ellis would have been the only surprise for me. I think they're just going for a little bit more athleticism, a little bit more speed, especially when you've got a mobile quarterback like this. So it doesn't surprise me in that sense. But, yeah, everybody was the normal Perco inactives.
How about you, Craven?
I'm sorry. What was the question? I was looking at.
Any surprise of the inactives?
I actually didn't see the inactives. I woke up and I saw that you posted the stream, so I just came right into it.
It just came. So the only I'll go back. McSorley, Scott, Averett, Marshall, the new center, Gasu. Hopefully, I'm not bashing that name. Right. And Ben Powers, and then Justin Ellis. That's the only one for me that surprised me. But again, for me, if you have Pecco and Pierce is healthy, right? Last week, I think both Ellis, Pecco, and Pierce dressed up. But I was surprised that Pierce even played in that conditions. I wouldn't risk it.
Right.
But I think that's why they have all three.
It doesn't surprise me. I mean, none of these guys surprise me.
Okay, so this is a question that I get a lot. Do you think Jaleel Scott will ever be active? I think what they wanted for Jaleel Scott was basically have them in the practice squad, but they still think that some team will grab him, right? Like right now, if you think, oh, let's put him now. No, because a team that is bottom of the league looking for players for next year can grab him and put him in the roster and just see him and just keep him. I don't think Jaleel Scott will be ever active because even when we had more injured, he wasn't active, right? When we had injuries on the wide receivers, he has always stayed inactive. Yeah. So my thing is, I don't think he's gonna get. Basically, they say we're gonna shelve you this year, and next year is gonna be your year that you're gonna make the roster for sure, being an active player, or you're just gonna get cut. But your thoughts?
Yeah, Jaleel Scott showed a lot of promise in training camp this year. I went to a few of the training camp practices, and he was making big catches. Looked like a big red zone target that I thought he would get some playing time this year. But look, the wide receivers don't get a whole lot of play in this offense. And this offense is built around explosion and players in space. And he just doesn't fit that mold, that type of wide receiver. I look for Hollywood Brown to have a big game today. I think Willie Snead will be involved pretty heavily in this game. But let's all three put a bold prediction out there, something completely off the wall that's going to happen in this game. I want to see where everybody's head's at. So I'll start. Okay. For me, I think DeAnthony Thomas has a punt return or a kick return for a touchdown in this game. So that'll be my kind of bold prediction for the game. Give me something.
Craven, you want to do the second?
Lamar Jackson tears Ed Oliver's ACL.
Lamar Jackson tears Ed Oliver's ACL. Okay.
I like it.
So my bold prediction will be a couple. E.T. gets his first pick six.
Oh, you did say that earlier. Okay. I like that.
I think Boykins actually gets 2 touchdowns. I think this is the game for him.
Wow, that's bold.
And I had another one. Oh, Ferguson gets a strip sack, a fumble sack, a strip sack fumble. Yeah. Ferguson gets a strip sack fumble.
I like it.
So those will be 3 bold predictions that I have.
I got a bold prediction.
Bold, but the other 2. Go ahead, man.
John Harbaugh doesn't go for it on 4th down once this game.
He said the John Harbaugh doesn't go for fourth down in this game. That's a bold prediction.
That is a bold prediction. Another one, I'm going to throw this out there. Justice Hill gets his touchdown, man. I got to see that guy in the end zone.
We talk about this. Well, Craven, you were in here. I talked about it him a little bit earlier, and I've been saying I'm more surprised how the lack of it's not effort, it's the lack of time for him.
Yeah.
And the only thing that I can think of is he's not that good in the blocking scheme, and that's why they don't put him as much. That's the only thing, because he brings that extra layer of speed, right?
Well, you got to think, what does this offense do with the two running backs that they use, Mark Ingram and Gus Edwards? They run between the tackles.
I agree.
And that's not Justice Hill's strength. He's an outside. He's a run around the tackle kind of guy, a shifty kind of guy.
Yeah.
So he's not going to get a ton of snaps. When I saw him in training camp, I saw a lot of explosion. I saw a lot of ability to make plays in space, especially as a receiver out of the backfield. Just haven't seen that yet. I'm hoping he gets in the end zone today.
I agree with everything that the guys are saying. And as we have the last 5 minutes here, let me see some last minute comments. Somebody said something about Project Pat, but
Project Pat.
They did that with Project Pat. Daniel C will be mad. That's the guy that was throwing. Okay. So here, what do we think about Nick Boyle? Nick Boyle, and somebody also said about Jahid Ward. I would say Ward has surprised me too.
Yeah.
Ward has played super solid this year.
Yeah.
Ward has been
dude, man.
He's been a big dude, but other than being big, I would say Warm hasn't had the greatest year. I know last week he had the tap, but I was expecting Warm to really step up this year.
Yeah.
Almost like what we were seeing from Willie Henry, although we cut him before he got injured last year.
Mm-hmm.
I was expecting that from Warm, and I haven't seen it. I'm not saying that he's playing trash either. I think he's been good enough.
He's serviceable.
Yeah. But Ward coming out of the stripping from the street, he actually, I think he has outperformed Ward a little bit, or Warm a little bit.
But you're talking about a linebacker versus a defensive lineman.
But he plays a lot in the line, though. Ward? Yeah, he plays in the line all the time.
Okay.
That's where you see him the most, especially where you see that 3-4 the end.
Okay.
For outside linebackers, they've been good with just going. Ferguson for me is currently our number 2.
Yeah.
I don't know officially.
He showed a lot of improvement from where he was in training camp.
I'm disappointed with Tyus Bowser. Yeah. I thought Bowser was going to take another step up this year, and he's not playing trash either.
No.
But he's playing like a backup.
Yeah.
So, and as a second round pick on your third year, you would think this would have been the year to make that step up. Okay, Boyle. Boyle is the guy, again, like the old lineman that you don't hear much about him. Every time there's a big play, when you hear, they're in their jumbo formation, Boyle is there. Right. It's not like they're bringing 2 extra linemen unless it's in the goal line, right? Or on the red zone. When you hear jumbo, it's because we had 2 tight ends, and always Boyle is there. And sometimes he leaks out and makes the catch. And when he's not, look at the big runs. Usually Boyle is in the middle. And if he's not in the line, he's pulling and going to the other side, taking a linebacker or a corner or a safety. I think Boyle, it's hard, right? Because people, when we talk about, I don't know about you, when I talk about linemen and then Boyle, stuff like that, it's hard to explain because you don't see the number. I cannot point look at that stat, right?
And that's the thing. That's why offensive linemen don't get the credit that they deserve, because it's hard to judge them based on statistics. But Nick Boyle is playing why we paid him the money. He's one of the best, if not the best, blocking tight ends in the league, and that's what he's doing. He's an extension of the offensive line. He gives us another body out there that for me, that was probably one of the best offseason signings was bringing Nick Boyle back into the fold. That the contract that he got isn't anything that's going to handicap you, and the importance that he has in this offense is huge.
I agree with Fred. Anything on Nick Boyle, Craven?
No, man, you guys pretty much said it all. I mean, he is like an unsung hero. Love the name, the Boyle. He's just always attached to the end of the line. I don't know. He's just an extension of this O-line, and I love he catches the ball too, and I like that we gave him a contract. And I just agree with everything you guys said. B words here though.
Yeah. So before we go, because actually I was gonna shut down, but I saw what's the B word.
Can't hear him.
Oh, you can't hear him?
I
he's there. He's there.
Love, man. Y'all can hear.
Oh, there you go.
Go ahead, man. Give us your quick prediction of the game before we shut down.
Well, you know me, I don't really do like the score prediction thing, but I just feel like we just need to stick that game plan, man. We gotta control that clock because we gonna be getting a taste of our own medicine going against another mobile quarterback. So we gotta control that factor. We didn't last week and we barely got by. We can't afford to do that again because
Okay.
that's our winning formula. If we let somebody else do our winning formula, man, it's gonna be tough on them.
I agree with you. And by the way, people say that this is the first. Like I've seen a lot. Like, oh, well, they're gonna get that first mobile. Like, where's Russell Wilson?
Yeah.
Right. And now what Allen does is he does run more than Russell.
Yeah.
Russell basically escapes and still looks to throw. Allen will take off.
Yeah.
Like Lamar and Russell do that a lot. Lamar still looks to throw and then eventually runs. When you have Josh Allen scrambling, I don't see him looking to throw. I see him just going.
Yeah.
Right. So that's a little bit different. So I got your point. Lots of word.
Yeah, that's the thing. Russell will run when he absolutely have to. But Josh Allen, he'll take off. But the only thing about it is this will kill me, and I think I seen you say this on your video before, back when the Bills played in the Cowboys game, is they talk all about Lamar Jackson getting hurt without running and all that, and you got Josh Allen out here running like a running back, taking hits, putting his head down. I mean, you see he got blew up in the game, and they don't say nothing about it.
Yeah, no, I agree. So I brought that up, I think 2 videos ago, saying that people talk about Lamar getting hurt and all this, and I said like, well, Lamar, first of all, he protects most of the time a lot. He protects himself. He doesn't slide, but also when he's out there, he runs like a receiver, more than a running back, like a receiver.
Yeah.
Very shifty because running backs do like to go through you, a lot of them.
Yeah.
Receivers don't like that big hit, so they go around you or go to the outside more. And he does that a lot. When he's in the open field, he does that a lot. One of the few times was in that fumble, I was shocked that he didn't bounce it out. I was like, why are you cutting in?
Yeah.
Because out there was nobody going out, right? But whatever. I will say B-word because I know you're driving all that. A lot of love here for you on the chat. A lot of love for you from me, Fred, and Craven.
Yeah, man.
If you, again, guys, I think.
I was saying in the comment when you were talking about how when you and Fred were talking about how we all get together and all that, man, I was like, man, I just feel like we've been knowing each other forever, and we really just get to know each other, man. The chemistry real between all of us, man.
Yeah, I would say like B-word said, we all like each other. And we don't always agree with each other, which is fine. I mean, and we go on Twitter and we go, but that, I mean, it's something that in our society, for some reason, if we disagree, we can be friends for some reason. That's stupid. I like all these guys. So for sure. So again, go check out What's the Viewer 52. He's in the chat, in the live chat. He put a bunch of comments. You can hit there, go to channel, subscribe. Craven some Raven. You can find him on anywhere you listen to podcasts and on YouTube, Craven some Raven. And he also left some chat there. Fred, he's here. He didn't chat, but as you saw, my boy
Big
here.
Trust.
Tell him where Eric, because you have multiple channels, right? Multiple avenues.
So Birdland BS is the primary one. You can find that on YouTube. You can find it on Facebook, Twitter. Follow me on Twitter at FredBLBS. You can follow the Birdland BS page at Birdland BS. You can also, if you are a Terps fan out there, like they mentioned before, you can follow my audio podcast called Shell and Tell. It's just strictly a Terps podcast. Appreciate you guys and appreciate you having me here, man. It's been a great time for sure.
And guys, we are gonna be here watching the game live at BlueGrass in Baltimore all the way to the game's over.
Get down here.
Swing by. I see Chef already putting his stuff down.
Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it.
That's what I'm saying. You can't argue with free food. Well, my boy Chef Will, he is putting all his food out. Come join. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be lit. And watch the game, guys. All we're gonna do here is talk about football. Watch the Bills game. And you know the Ravens are gonna win. I think 30-17. Fred had it at
30-21.
30-21. Craven, you had it at.
I didn't put out a score, but I'll say 37-9.
37-9. Whoa, okay, woo! And then what's the B word?
Like
I'm gonna say something like probably 28.
28-7. But what's the B word? You going with the Ravens, right?
Oh yeah, come on.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
come on, man.
Hey, I'm just asking. Okay. Last and not least, I'm almost at 1,000 subscribers. Thank you guys.
Make that happen.
Also, we're gonna do. I already ordered the Lamar jersey XL. We're gonna do that as a giveaway in the near future when I get it. That's with your order too.
Nice.
So once we get that, just stay tuned to the channel. One thing, and I'll say this for everybody, but please hit the bell because a lot of you said like, oh, well, I wasn't sure when your video was up. Well, if you hit that bell, because YouTube's stupid like that, even if you're subscribed, it won't tell you. Hit that bell, and if you hit that bell, it will alert you when I come up. And you can do the same for the other guys. Anyway, guys, thank you for joining the live stream. Go Ravens. Let's make it happen. I hope to see a couple of you guys here. Peace out.
Big trust.
Big trust.
The shocker.